evening, viewers. This is BVI Channel 1. You're welcome back again on the platform where you get undiluted truth. And on this program tonight, Biafra Discourse, let's talk about the Biafran ideology, which is hinged on the rule of law, and the possibility of Biafrans getting their freedom from Nigeria through the due process of law. Would Biafrans ever get justice in Nigeria? This is one of the things we're going to be talking about. Following the Biafran agitation that had spanned over the years, most of them have hinged their agitation based on rule of law. And one aspect of it, one prominent aspect of it is the suit filed by the indigenous people of Biafra through the customary government as headed by the Council of Elders in the past. And they took that matter to court. Many who had followed that very case had the reservation, the most Biafrans had the reservation that it is impossible for Biafran people to gain independence or any form of justice from Nigerian court. But the narrative had always been something that we're going to talk about after we just a flashback on that very ideology as adopted, the ideological roadmap to Biafran freedom as adopted by Biafra group. Not just one Biafra group, but most Biafran groups had adopted rule of law. But one of the most prominent one is what you're going to see. I'll be right back.
Ideology and adopted roadmap for pursuing self-determination and achieving independence for Biafra people hinge on rule of law by applying diplomacy, civil and human rights movement, court process, mass media, political and every other legitimate process of pursuing independence for Biafra. We abhor any form of breakdown of law and order, incisive hate speeches or broadcasts. We do not promote war as a way to achieve independence for Biafra. Through our Legal and Human Rights Department, Belia Human Rights Initiative, Biafra sued Nigeria to court for self-determination in suit number FHC/OW/CS/192/2013 at Federal High Court of Owerri. This established that Biafra is a legal entity and Biafra people have right to agitate for self-determination. This suit is still ongoing in Nigeria as the suit is now due to be taken to International Court of Justice. This is based on United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People for Self-Determination, as well adopted by African Union and by extension, Nigerian Constitution under the customary law.
That is it. That is the roadmap as adopted by most Biafra groups. But sentiment aside, because I know that so many Biafran people will say, oh, now Biafran people, we've told you all this while that there is nothing that can come out of Nigerian court. Nigeria is embellished with impunity, just as witnessed recently at the judgment from the tribunal, where they could not even interpret their own constitution. I mean, Nigerian judges at the tribunal. Then how come anyone would expect that kind of court to grant Biafran people justice? Also, some people will put it side by side, that Nnamdi Kanu, which the court of Nigeria had already granted some kind of justice by saying, let the man go, either on bail or free him. Yet, the country government in place is keeping him in detention. Now, this whole thing put together, we're going to, quickly look at what possible way, keep sentiment aside, what possible way most applicable in the situation of Biafran people in Nigeria today that could guarantee their freedom. And I will always tell you that freedom comes before independence. And that is where people are getting it wrong. When you say freedom, some people mix it up with independence. And that is why we take our time on this platform to sensitize our people to know the difference between freedom of Biafrans in Nigeria and independence of Biafra as a country from Nigeria. So these are the things that we need to properly draw a line so that we understand this better. Joining me tonight is a prominent voice, a Biafran from the core, and also my hinchman, Nnamdi Anenugu, the village economist, joining me from his hood. Hello, Nnamdi. Good evening. Welcome to the program tonight.
Yeah, hello, good evening, Chinedu. Thank you for giving a voice to our people.
All right, now let us quickly get down to business. Now, following what happened in court, and who had also been a strong advocate for the Biafran independence through the due process of law. You have followed the case of Biafran people from day one as fired by the Council of Elders through Bile Human Rights Initiative. Today, nobody's talking about the case. We've also had the case of Nnamdi Kanu and the Nigerian federal government. We know how the case is being is going. We also had there is one other fellow that was arrested who hijacked a radio station one time ago. Up to today, nobody has heard about him. So people have kept wondering, would Biafran people ever get justice in Nigeria? Knowing fully well that the Nigerian justice system is highly corrupt. What's your opinion on that, Nnamdi?
Yeah, thank you, Chinedu. And thank you for the good job you've been doing for our people. I can't thank you enough. You know, my opinion has been this. The power belongs to the people. And the power of informed people is the greatest, greater than those few people in government. We have to repeat this statement over and over again so that it will sink inside, or it will go down. It will go down. It will be registered in our people's everyday life. People will know that the only way out, the last hope for the last common man is the people, the common man himself, not even the judiciary, because so many people believed that court will give us justice. Which court? Those Supreme Court and Appeal Court judges, did they fall down from the heaven or from the sky? They are part of this system. They are the part of this bastardized and corrupt system we have in Nigeria. You know, it's only when people are organized, when people are informed of their rights, that all these things will come to a peaceful end. Now, Chinedu, I want you to consider this. Peter Obi does not have anybody, any political office, any councillor, senator, governor, I mean his party, Labour Party. But that man won election in Lagos State. Lagos State has been under stronghold of APC for the past 24 years. But Peter Obi won. In Abuja, he did the same thing. Why? Because people in Lagos are informed people. They are middle classers. The same thing with Abuja. They are working class. They are people who can understand the message and execute it, you know. So that one will show all of us that if a people is well organized and informed, that they can take power, political power. So to the Biafran people, if Biafran people, as I have been advocating since the past 9 to 10 years now, that we should organize ourselves, If we get organized and say, Chinedu, is you that will be the governor of Anambra State, give
Since
it, we
last
take it.
2013, at
Is
Federal High
Emeka that
Court
will be
of Enugu
governor of
State,
Enugu
is
State, give it, he will
established.
take it. Governor of Abia State is Okeke that will be governor of Abia State, he will take it. Because this freedom, the quest for freedom, like you said, Chinedu, that we have to be free before we talk of independence. We have to be economically empowered. That secure our economic freedom, secure our political freedom, secure our religious freedom, secure our cultural freedom before we talk about independence. It's stage by stage. Ndị Igbo si na a na-azụtagodo ana wee zọba ute. Ọ bụrụ onye azụtara ana, ọ je na-azụ ute. Ka ebe ya atụ ute. You have to secure land first before you think of building house. If you don't have house, if you don't have land, where would you build a house? Is it in the sky? So we have to secure our people first. We have to give our people good governance. We have to show our people love. I'm in the village now. I have to start showing my people in the village love. I have to start giving them. They need rice, I'll give them rice. They need meat, I'll buy meat for them. They need electricity, I'll connect it for them. How would a single man do all those things if I don't have political power? It is only political power that connect all these dotted lines. And if I can do that, if I can do that, if I can do this, that stands for ideology of Biafra, I mean, everybody in our land will love me and they will go by me. If I ask them to move to Aso Rock, they will move to Aso Rock with me. If I tell them to stay indoor, they will stay indoor with me. Meanwhile, Chinedu, let me stand by so that we'll tackle further questions.
All right, in the way you have actually nailed some of the points that we needed to hear. And to those who are watching, the numbers is on the screen. If you want to join this conversation, you can call the number +234 810 4545 533 to make your submission known. Okay, you can just call these numbers and we will be there to take your call and give you a voice. All right. We are still talking about justice in Nigeria and the hope of Biafra getting one from Nigeria in any shape, in any form. And having considered some of the adopted roadmap, we've seen Biafran people go to court. They started, I witnessed it myself, I was there myself, I saw it when the case was called up between Biafra and Nigeria. Up to today, nothing has been heard of that. But I see thousands of our young people on the streets during the time of protest. They gather. Thousands of people, millions of people who believe in Biafra. Yet, we are not yet organized enough and still blame a couple of few people in Biafran land for our misfortune. We still blame the politicians. We say this politician is this, these politicians are that. The people that enables them to go into power, who are they? I'm talking about in Biafran land. In fact, I can narrow it down to Igbo land specifically. It is still the Biafran people that enable these people to go into power. And when we say Biafran enthusiasts, we know we have Biafrans. We have Igbo Biafrans. We have Igbo Biafrans who believe in the Biafran freedom. And the Igbo Biafrans who do not even believe in the Biafran cause. They are one Nigerianist. They adopt the system of Nigeria. They thrive with the impunity of Nigeria. They amass wealth because of the impunity and corruption of Nigeria. So anything Biafra is really an anathema to them. But to the suffering Biafrans, as much as other Nigerians from other places, the Arewas, the Oduduwas, they are all suffering. Now, I was in a discussion in the BC with someone today, deliberating on this issue. And he was agitated. He was like, oh, let's move in. Let's scatter everywhere. Let Nigeria burn. Let this happen. That it is violence that will guarantee the freedom of the people. That Nigeria is finished and gone. Following what happened during this tribunal. So they believe that nothing can happen anymore. So, as a result of it, let everything burn down. And I said, that is not the right way to go. And how can I convince such person that, oh, going through the court will be the best? When I've seen that even Nigerian court cannot, in all honesty, deliver judgment, deliver justice to its own conducted election. They couldn't do that. Then how can you guarantee that they are going to do that when Biafran people seek justice through the court? So how can I convince such person to hang in there and follow the due process of law? Now, we've also seen that Biafran people have attempted to defend their territory during the 70s. So they fought the war. And we saw how it went. And if you go on the street and ask any Biafran, do you want war? They say no. That is the truth. Forget about the people making noise on the social media, especially those of them staying in diaspora. Go and fight. Somebody even told me today that he may be watching, that Chinedu, I will give you money to mobilize boys, arm them to go on the street. I said to myself, this man will not give me money to create jobs and enable these people to be economically beneficial to themselves and believe in my cause for Biafra. But he will be fast, or he will be willing to give me money so that I'll be able to arm some boys to go into violent agitation or armed agitation. I say I don't subscribe to that. In as much as I want Biafra, we have to follow it through the due process. And one of the most viable means, which I have always leaned my voice to, is the political revolutionary process, the Biafran politics, the politics of Biafra in Biafran land. As a Biafran, we are Biafrans by indigenous identity, just as much as those who are Oduduwas by indigenous identity or Arewas by indigenous identity. But what we all have in common in Nigeria is that we are all Nigerian citizens. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe in it or not, whether you want to deny yourself or lie to yourself about it, the truth of the matter is that Biafrans are still Nigerians by citizenship as we speak today. Until maybe perhaps when Biafra regains our full independence as a free state on its own. So now, looking at this whole thing, I said, oh, the best way to go about it is through the political process. You can imagine having thousands of the Biafran people who are out there agitating for freedom. Imagine if they can troop out in mass and say, we want freedom. They will get the freedom they want. Automatically, they will get the freedom they want. We've seen that the court, forget about it. You cannot get the justice from the court. Yes, but the case has been established, fine and good. Because the lawyer who established this case, Barrister Emeka Mekesere, I can remember him vividly when he was saying that it is the process which was established by the UN, that the people seeking for independence should go through court. Then they will be able to take it to the International Court of Justice for them to have the needed interpretation to their freedom as they are pursuing it. So when we look at it, you see that the most practicable means for Biafran people to first have the freedom they desire is through the court. No, not through the court, sorry. Through political means, to take over power, to have power to themselves. That is the most viable way for the Biafran people to have the freedom they desire. So tell me, Nnamdi, do you subscribe to the Biafran political revolution, or you have an alternative means for our people to pursue what they desire.
Yeah, thank you, Chinedu. Yeah, let me reconfirm that the process that we must follow is political process. And the political process, you also have economic process. Because politics is the superstructure of any system, while the economy is the substructure. So if you get the politics right, you get every other thing right. So for us to secure the freedom we seek or we desire, we'll have to pursue it through the political process. Recall, Chinedu, you made clarification of freedom and independence. Most people moving on the street don't even understand the line between the freedom and the independence. They see two of them at the center, at the center. The moment you mention Biafra, what it rings a bell. Ah, you want to start another war? Ah, okay, Biafra, these IPOB people, they want their own country. Oh, they have lost the election. P2B is IPOB. He has lost the election. Now they want to start agitating again. No, no. These people have not gotten the message right. And that is why this platform is important. We have to clarify this. There is difference between freedom and independence. The freedom we seek for now is like you want to secure land first before you build a house. The Yoruba people have already secured the land, but they have Oduduwa. And they have Oduduwa University. They have Oduduwa Foundation. Nobody has any problem with that. Nobody is dragging it. We've gone to court to ask court one fundamental question. Is there anything wrong with us answering Biafrans that we are Biafrans in Nigeria? The honorable court or judge said no. Nigerian side responded no. There's nothing wrong with that. So the question you asked me whether I have any other roadmap, any other strategy to achieve what every other person moving on the street is seeking or asking for. I don't have any other process apart from this political process. Whether it takes next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, I am here to give my children sense of direction so that people will not deceive them the next day. You must be part of the political process. Whether it works today, it will work tomorrow. We must organize ourselves and empower the people to know that the power they have is bigger than those few people in government. Like in Anambra State here, the power we have in Anambra State is bigger than those few people in Soludo government. How many of them are there? After all, during presidential election, Soludo couldn't win election in his village. He couldn't win election in government house. In Aso Rock, APC couldn't win election inside Aso Rock. Are you surprised? So if we are organized, why wouldn't we build our heaven on earth here? Even without oil money, without Abuja money. That is the freedom I seek now. We must develop our land. We must empower our people. We must zero or narrow the inequalities, the income inequalities. You know, you must find a way of bringing people up. You know, you must empower them. You must create the infrastructure, create enabling environment so that people will. You must pay people living wage. A graduate now all equal 200, 500,000 naira, 1,000 naira a month is not bad. Of course, pay people per hour. If people work for you 2, 3 hours, you pay them. There must be laws to take care of that. That is the kind of freedom I seek. Because I'm already Biafran. I'm saying it before camera, before the world. I'm already Biafran. There is no question about that. The stage I am now is pursuing my political strategy to restore good governance, restore good society, good environment. Once I can achieve that, you move to the next stage. People don't understand how these things go. That is why yesterday some people are singing, "We want Biafra or death, we want Biafra or death." The next day, Peter Obi came, obedient movement, all of them moved to that side. Is anything goes. But it's not like that. What I'm pursuing is to make sure that my environment is secured, make sure that my environment is peaceful, make sure that we build a modern city in our environment, make sure there's 24-hour supply of electricity, make sure that water is running everywhere, make sure that our school system is modernized, make sure that the copy and paste education is abolished. So not a certificate tigers, but qualitative education. Certificate you can have to solve problem, to add value to the society, not just to have a certificate to go and look for job. Once we have all those things, my brother, we have achieved Biafra. The ideology of Biafra has been achieved, and that freedom we seek, we have gotten it. And then we look at any other thing. Territory, you can move out. Of course, there's a process to pursue that. So, in conclusion, once any society fails to get their politics right, every other thing will fail, and that is why Nigerian society has been failing after the Civil War, because they've not gotten it right. So our job now is to
All right, thank you very much, Ndubisi. Thank you very much. And that will be ending it here today. And we'll be resuming this very same program next week, Monday, from 7 p.m. Make your time to be there, because that time we'll open up the lines for you to make your calls. You can also continue the conversation through the comment section. Keep dropping them, and let's have your opinion on this. Together, we can form a better society for ourselves as Biafrans in Nigeria to set the motion straight. If the revolution that Nigerian people seek to free themselves from the punity of the Nigerian state could come from the Biafrans, that is wonderful. But how would that happen? Through the political process. If the agitators of Biafra can put themselves together and have themselves elected into government, identify die-hard Biafrans from among themselves and place them as their governors, their senators, their House of Rep members, the same thing will start happening in the north, and the same thing will start happening in the west. That is the only time the Nigerian people who are either Biafrans by indigenous identity, or Duduwas by indigenous identity, or otherwise by indigenous identity, can come together at their National Assembly and say, let us make a law to ourselves and return this country back to the true federation if we have to be together. I have a structure where anyone can take a referendum and take a bow out of Nigeria if they wish. But if Nigeria is working for everyone, nobody will be seeking for his own different country and the rest. It is because Nigeria had failed in all ramifications. And we've seen that the justice system in Nigeria is in a big mess. Join us next week as we continue in this conversation as we wrap it up tonight on Biafra Discourse. Thank you, Ndubisi, for joining. And we hope that by next week, Monday, we will all come back again to continue on this program. On this, I'm signing out and saying, may God bless you all. Keep the faith alive. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep sharing. And Don't forget to drop your comments, as always, on the comment section so that we will be able to take your opinion. Most importantly, we need your support. Keep bringing it. This is the forum that says the truth the way it is. Many of you may not like it, but that is the truth. It's about time we leave sentiment and do that which is right, so that together we shall be free. On this note, stay safe and have a very wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.